The spaceship pierced the atmosphere of Xylos, flames licking at its underbelly. Inside, Sir Kalen sat strapped in, his armor cold against his skin. He adjusted his helmet, a grimace etched on his face. This was no ordinary tournament, no joust for glory. This was a rescue mission, a desperate plea from a dying world. Kalen had been chosen for his bravery, his unwavering sense of duty. He was a knight of the Round Table, sworn to protect the innocent even if it meant venturing into the unknown. Xylos, a planet shrouded in mystery, was under threat from the tyrannical Zorn. Their iron grip threatened to extinguish the very life force of the planet. As the ship shuddered, preparing for landing, Kalen's hand instinctively went to the hilt of his sword. Excalibur hummed faintly, a reassuring presence in the face of uncertainty. This was no ordinary foe, no ordinary battle. He was a knight on an alien world, entrusted with a people's fate. His heart pounded against his ribs, a drumbeat of anticipation and fear, but fear was a luxury he couldn't afford. He was Sir Kalen, and he would face whatever awaited him on Xylos with courage and honor. The landing was rough, the ship groaning in protest as it touched down on Xylos. Stepping out onto the alien soil, Kalen was greeted by a sight that stole his breath away. The landscape was a stark contrast to his own world. Gone were the lush greens and blues, replaced by a palette of vibrant purples and oranges. Strange bioluminescent plants illuminated the twilight sky, casting an ethereal glow on everything they touched. The air hung heavy with the scent of unfamiliar flora, a heady mix of sweet and spicy. It was beautiful, yet there was an underlying sense of wrongness, a discordant note in the symphony of senses. Ahead, a group of figures approached, their forms silhouetted against the alien sunset. They were unlike anything Kalen had ever seen, tall and slender, with skin that shimmered like polished obsidian. Their eyes, large and luminous, regarded him with a mixture of curiosity and apprehension. This was the Xylar race, a people known for their wisdom and connection to nature. They were the heart and soul of Xylos, and they were dying under the Zorn's oppressive rule. Their once vibrant world was slowly being choked by the iron grip of the invaders. The Xylar greeted Kalen with a mixture of hope and despair. Their eyes, a kaleidoscope of colors, reflected the turmoil within their hearts. They had been waiting for a savior, someone who could help them reclaim their world from the clutches of the Zorn. They led him to their hidden city, carved into the heart of a giant bioluminescent tree. The tree itself seemed to be alive, its branches pulsating with a soft, ethereal glow that illuminated the city within. The city pulsed with a soft, ethereal light, a stark contrast to the encroaching darkness that threatened to engulf their world. The light was a beacon of hope, a reminder of what they were fighting to protect. Their leader, Eldrin, was a being of immense wisdom and sorrow. His eyes, deep and knowing, held the weight of countless battles and losses. He had seen his people suffer, and yet he remained steadfast, a pillar of strength for the Xylar. He explained the plight of his people, how the Zorn, with their advanced technology and insatiable hunger for conquest, had invaded their peaceful world. The Zorn were relentless, their machines tearing through the land, leaving nothing but devastation in their wake. They had stripped the planet of its resources, leaving behind a trail of destruction in their wake. The once lush and vibrant landscapes were now barren and lifeless, a testament to the Zorn's cruelty. "The Iron Bloom," Eldrin said, his voice heavy with grief. "It spreads like a disease, corrupting our lands, poisoning our life force." This sinister plant, brought by the Zorn, was unlike anything they had ever seen before. He pointed to a shimmering metallic plant, its tendrils reaching out like grasping claws. The plant seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, its presence a constant reminder of the Zorn's invasion. The Zorn brought it with them. It feeds on our planet's energy, leaving behind nothing but barren wastelands. The once thriving ecosystems were now desolate, the life force of the planet drained away. Kalen listened intently, his heart heavy with the Xylar's plight. He could feel their pain, their desperation. He had come to save a planet, but he hadn't expected to find such beauty, such despair intertwined. He had come to save a planet, but he hadn't expected to find such beauty, such despair. The city, with its glowing lights and intricate architecture, was a testament to the Xylar's resilience and creativity. Yet the shadow of the Zorn's destruction loomed large, a constant reminder of the battle that lay ahead. He swore to himself, on his honor as a knight, that he would help these people. He would not let the Zorn's tyranny go unchallenged. He would stand with the Xylar, fight for their freedom, and restore their world to its former glory. He would fight for their right to exist, for their right to breathe free. With a determined heart and a steely resolve, Kalen prepared for the battles to come. He knew the road ahead would be fraught with danger, but he was ready to face it head-on for the sake of the Xylar and their beautiful, beleaguered world. Section 4. A Princess in Hiding. Deep within the heart of the Xylar city, hidden away from prying eyes, lived Princess Lyra. She was a figure of mystery, her existence known only to a select few who were entrusted with the planet's most guarded secret. She was not a princess in the traditional sense, adorned with jewels and finery. Instead, she wore plain clothes, blending seamlessly into the bustling city, her true identity concealed from the world. Lyra's beauty was veiled, her true form hidden beneath a cloak of shimmering scales, a consequence of the Zorn's cruelty. These scales were not just a disguise, but a symbol of her resilience and the trials she had endured. Lyra possessed a unique connection to Xylos, her very being intertwined with the planet's life force. This bond was her strength, allowing her to draw energy and wisdom from the very essence of the planet. It was this connection that the Zorn sought to exploit, to drain the planet of its energy and fuel their insatiable greed. They were relentless, their machines and technology designed to strip Xylos of its vitality. But the Xylar, in their wisdom, had concealed her, protecting their princess and their planet. They created a sanctuary, a hidden refuge where Lyra could remain safe, her presence a beacon of hope for their people. When Kalen first heard whispers of the princess, he imagined a delicate flower, fragile and in need of rescuing. The tales he had heard painted a picture of vulnerability and helplessness. He envisioned a damsel in distress, a princess locked away in a tower, awaiting her knight in shining armor. His mind conjured images of classic fairy tales, where the hero saves the day. But Lyra was no damsel. She was a warrior in her own right, her spirit forged in the fires of adversity. Her strength was not just physical, but also emotional and mental, a testament to her indomitable will. She was a force of nature, her spirit as strong and unyielding as the planet itself. Her connection to Xylos made her a formidable ally, her powers a reflection of the planet's own resilience. He longed to meet her, to offer his protection, his sword. Kalen felt a deep sense of duty, a calling that went beyond mere chivalry. He wanted to stand by her side, to be her shield against the darkness. He was a knight, after all, sworn to defend those in need. His oath was sacred, a pledge to protect the innocent and uphold justice, no matter the cost. But Eldron, his face etched with worry, forbade it. The elder's concern was palpable, his eyes reflecting the weight of the responsibility he bore. "She is our only hope, Sir Kalen," he said, his voice heavy with the weight of responsibility. Eldron's words were a stark reminder of the stakes involved, the delicate balance that needed to be maintained. We cannot risk her being discovered. The elder's warning was clear, the danger too great to ignore. Lyra's safety was paramount, her existence the key to their survival. Section 5. A Promise to Fight. Kalen, bound by his oath, agreed to keep Lyra's existence a secret. The weight of this promise was heavy, but he knew it was necessary for her safety. His heart ached for the princess he had never met, for the pain he could sense in the very air he breathed. The stories of her plight haunted his dreams, filling him with a sense of urgency and sorrow. He trained with the Xylar warriors, learning their ways, adapting his swordsmanship to this strange, new world. Each day brought new challenges, but also new strengths. The Xylar's techniques were unlike anything he had ever seen, blending agility with power in a seamless dance of combat. He discovered that the Xylar, though peaceful by nature, were fierce protectors of their own. Their villages were serene, yet every warrior was ready to defend their home at a moment's notice. This duality fascinated Kalen, teaching him the balance between peace and readiness. They fought with a grace and fluidity that belied their strength, their movements as natural as the swaying of the bioluminescent trees. The forest itself seemed to come alive during their training sessions, the glowing flora casting an ethereal light on their battles. Kalen, used to the weight of his armor, the clang of metal on metal, found himself adapting, his own movements becoming more fluid, more instinctive. He learned to trust his instincts, to move with the environment rather than against it. "You are different, Sir Kalen," Eldrin observed one day, watching as Kalen sparred with a young Xylar warrior. The Elder's eyes, wise and knowing, seemed to see through Kalen's very soul. "You fight with honor, with a sense of purpose that goes beyond mere duty." These words resonated deeply with Kalen, affirming his resolve. Kalen paused, catching his breath. The training was rigorous, but it was shaping him into a warrior unlike any other. "I fight for what is right," he replied, his voice firm, "for those who cannot fight for themselves." This was his creed, the very essence of his being. "For those who cannot fight for themselves," he repeated, feeling the weight of his words. Each syllable was a vow, a promise to the helpless and the oppressed. "And what about the princess, Sir Kalen?" Eldrin pressed, his luminous eyes boring into Kalen's. The question hung in the air, heavy with implication. "What will you do when the time comes to face the Zorn?" The Zorn, a formidable enemy, were known for their ruthlessness and power. The thought of facing them was daunting, yet Kalen felt no fear. "Will you fight for her too?" Kalen didn't hesitate. His resolve was unshakable, his purpose clear. "I swear it," he vowed, his hand on the hilt of Excalibur. The legendary sword seemed to hum with approval, its power resonating with his promise. "On my honor as a knight, I will protect her with my life." This was not just a promise, but a sacred oath, one that bound him to his duty and to the princess he had yet to meet. The path ahead was fraught with danger, but Kalen was ready to face it, armed with his honor and his unwavering resolve.